So for most of us, the Harry Potter story wrapped up on the last page of the Deathly Hallows, right? Well, what if I told you this story kept going? J.K. Rowling didn't stop writing. She just stopped writing books for a bit. We're about to dive into all the incredible lore she dropped in interviews and yes, even on Twitter, long after the series was over. Yeah, that final line, all was well, it it wasn't really the end. Not by a long shot. For years, J.K. Rowling basically used social media like her own personal daily prophet. She was constantly answering fan questions, the ones that kept us up at night, and dropping these little bombshells that add so much more to a world we thought we already knew completely. Okay, so here's what we've got lined up. We're going to go way beyond that final chapter. We'll bust some of the wildest fan theories out there, and then we are going deep on the most complicated guy in the whole series, Severus Snape. After that, we'll get into some revelations that are honestly just heartbreaking. And we'll wrap it all up with a little rapid-fire round of fun facts. All right, section 1, beyond the final page. So where did all this new info even come from? Well, for a long time, Rowling's Twitter was basically a direct line to the mind behind the magic. It felt less like official canon and more like this amazing, ongoing chat with the fans. And these weren't just random little tidbits. The details she shared in these casual tweets, they can completely change how you look at some of the biggest moments in the books. It's not just trivia for your next pub quiz. This is stuff that adds brand new layers, and in some cases, it honestly changes everything. Okay, next up, let's talk fan theories. Because let's be real, the internet has come up with some wild ones over the years. So we're going to clear the air and look at what J.K. Rowling herself had to say about what's actually canon and what's not. And yeah, she didn't mince words. That whole theory about Draco being a werewolf? Nope, she shut that down. Snape being a vampire? Also a big false. The idea of Fawkes, Dumbledore's phoenix, being a Horcrux? She actually called that one strangely upsetting. But she didn't hate all of them. There's that one amazing theory that Dumbledore is actually Death from the Tale of the Three Brothers. She said that wasn't canon, but she called it a beautiful theory and admitted it fits. Kinda cool, right? All right, now for the big one, the tragedy of Severus Snape. Seriously, no other character got as much attention from Rowling after the books ended as the Potions Master himself. So let's get into it. So here's the thing Rowling really wanted to hammer home about Snape. He's gray. Just all gray. You can't just slap a hero sticker on him. He was nasty, he was a bully, but you can't call him a devil either because, well, he literally died to save everyone. He's not supposed to be easy to figure out. He's both, and that's exactly the point. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The two sides of Snape. On one hand, Rowling calls him incredibly brave, a total hero. But on the other hand, he was a bully. He took all his anger and jealousy about James Potter and just dumped it all on Harry. It's like he was the absolute best and the absolute worst of people, all in one package. But here's the really crucial part to understand. He didn't die for some noble ideal about saving the world. No, his motivation was deeply personal. He died trying to make up for his own guilt, his guilt over Lily's death. Think about that. It was a selfish reason for a selfless act. He wasn't trying to save humanity. He was trying to save himself from his own past. And yet, and this is a big and yet, Rowling makes it super clear that without him, Harry would have lost. Simple as that. Snape's silence at the very end is what sealed the deal. He knew what Voldemort didn't know about the Elder Wand, and he could have spilled the beans at any moment to save his own skin. But he didn't. He stayed quiet, and that silence ensured Harry's victory. And that brings us to that name, right? Albus Severus. I know a lot of people have feelings about that one. But according to Rowling, this was about so much more than just honoring Snape. For Harry, it was an act of forgiveness and gratitude. But it was also about Harry himself, hoping for his own sense of peace and forgiveness after all the horror of the war. It was his way of processing everything. So in the end, what is Snape? Well, Rowling's final word on him is that his life was a tragedy. He wasn't some pure evil monster. He was just a broken man. He could see the goodness in Lily. He loved that about her, but he just couldn't be like her. He couldn't find that goodness in himself. And that right there was his whole tragedy. Okay, let's move on to some other huge revelations. And I gotta warn you, these are the ones that really change how you feel about some of the most heartbreaking parts of the story. These are the reasons why certain things had to happen. So, let's talk about Remus Lupin. Why did he have to die? I mean, come on. The guy finally finds some happiness, has a son, and then he's killed. It just felt so cruel. Well, it turns out there was a very deliberate and honestly devastating reason for it.
Here's the story. Originally, Arthur Weasley was supposed to die when Nagini attacked him. Rowling planned it, but she just couldn't go through with it. She let Arthur live. And because she did, she felt another good father had to die to keep the story's balance. So she chose Lupin. She said, Arthur lived, so Lupin had to die. I'm sorry. And get this, she said the only time her editor ever saw her cry was when she was writing about Lupin's orphan son, Teddy. Wow.
And this actually explains something else people have always wondered about. Why didn't Harry name one of his kids Remus? It wasn't because he didn't care. He actually had a rule. He only carried on the names of people who had no family left to do it for them, people like Sirius or even Snape. He left the name Remus for his godson, Teddy, so Teddy could use it for his own son one day. Pretty thoughtful, right? And what about Hedwig? Oh man, Hedwig's death was such a gut punch at the start of the last book. And Rowling confirmed that was exactly the point. It wasn't random. Hedwig's death was symbolic. It was meant to represent the end of Harry's childhood, the end of his innocence. The moment she died, that last little bit of safety from his early years at Hogwarts was just gone. Okay, let's wrap this up with some fun stuff. A little rapid-fire round of fascinating facts and final details from the wizarding world. Ready?
So, did you know Hagrid can't produce a Patronus? Apparently the spell is just too complex for him. Ron's Patronus is a Jack Russell Terrier, which is perfect because they're known for chasing otters, and what's Hermione's Patronus? An otter. Also, Rowling made it clear she never specified Hermione was white in the books. Oh, and this one is wild. The Sorting Hat put Peter Pettigrew in Gryffindor based on the man he could have been, not the man he was.
And for the question that has plagued fans for decades, in a fight between the two most famous cats at Hogwarts, who wins? Crookshanks or Mrs. Norris? Well, we have a definitive winner. Rowling says Crookshanks. His part-Kneasel's smarts and magic would give him the edge. Sorry, Filch. And finally, for all you superfans out there, we got some confirmed birthdays. Draco Malfoy is June 5th, Sirius Black November 3rd, and Luna Lovegood is February 13th. And, a drumroll please, the age-old question has been settled. The older Weasley twin is Fred. Fred was born first. So, after all that, does it change how you see the original story? Because that's really the point, isn't it? This stuff isn't just trivia. It adds so much depth, it changes why characters did what they did, and it makes you feel the big moments in a whole new way. It's almost like an invitation to go back and read the entire series again, but this time, it's like you've got the author's secret notes right there with you.